everyone, I am just Shawnee and today we're going to be watching TikTok scary stories. I'm so excited about this. Make sure you hit that subscribe button, hit that like, and ring that bell so you'll be notified every time I post a new video. And don't forget about that reality TV little mini series I'm going to do on YouTube. If you're interested and you're in North Carolina, shoot me an email. Email's in my description. Let me know that you're interested. Okay, let's just go in.
This spooky story submission is actually so terrifying that it led to the person who was telling me the story to end up in the hospital because of this. So for the story, we're going to call her Danielle, and I'm going to tag her below. We're calling her Danielle because that's what her childhood friends and her family used to call her. So until Danielle was about 14 or 15 years old, she lived on 78 acres of land. She said that in that 78 acres of land, only about 3 other people lived on that land. So it was a pretty secluded area, and Danielle really liked to play outside. That was her favorite thing to do. She loved watching the deers, the rabbits, but her favorite was climbing trees. One thing that really bothered her though is that her mother would never let her play outside after dark, and we're talking like not even after the sunset, as the sun started setting. She didn't like this, but she obviously obeyed it because it was her mother and so she had to. Until one day, her mother decides that she is going to go out to a friend's house and Danielle doesn't want to go with her. But if Danielle doesn't go with her, it means that she's going to be left alone. Her and her mother decide that this is okay and that Danielle is old enough to handle this, so she stays home alone and her mom leaves at about 3 p.m. Danielle decides that she's going to go outside and she's going to play in the woods. She said that she was outside climbing trees when she felt this overwhelming feeling of being watched. It was overwhelming and it felt like it was coming from above her. But she keeps looking up and she's not seeing anything, so she's thinking that maybe her mind's just playing tricks on her, and she kind of shrugs it off. At some point, it starts to get dark, and she knows that she's supposed to go home, but she doesn't want to go home, and she's home alone, so she can do what she wants, so she decides that she's going to stay outside. At around 7:30 p.m., when the sun had already set, she starts hearing a noise, and it's her mother calling her name. She's calling for her to come home. So Danielle is like, oh crap, I gotta get home, so she starts walking home, but she still has this overwhelming feeling of being watched. When all of a sudden, she starts hearing twigs and leaves snapping behind her. So she looks behind her, but she doesn't see anything. She finally gets home, and she realizes that her mom is not home. So while she's outside, she calls her mom and she's like, Mom, were you home? Like, I just heard you calling my name. And her mom was like, I have not been home this entire time. I'm still at my friend's house. She said this really freaked her out, and she decided to turn around and look in the woods, and she looked over and she sees a dark figure standing outside in the woods. This freaks her out, so she runs inside, she slams the door, and she deadbolts it shut. She then goes over to the window and she looks outside of her blinds to see if it's still there, and of course it is not there. She again decides that she's going to shrug this off. Maybe her eyes are just playing tricks on her, and she decides to make dinner. This feeling of being watched, this overwhelming feeling, follows her until the morning. And she said that she didn't feel like she was being watched by one thing, she felt like she was being watched by like several things. She decides to go to her camera because they have cameras in the house, and there's a new video popped up, and I'm assuming that they were motion censored. She didn't say in the email, but she did say that there was a new video, so she looks at it and she doesn't see anything, but she hears this tapping sound on their front door. It's important to note right now that their front door is a big metal door that her mom had put in when they very first moved in. Nothing is on the camera, she cannot see anything, so she decides that she's going to go outside and she's going to look at the door. Outside on the door, there are huge claw marks on this metal big door. She said that she then realized that this could not have been an animal, because if it was an animal, number one, why is it trying to get into her house? And number two, how could it make these claw marks on this big metal door her mom had installed? So this really freaked her out, so I think her way of just coping with things was just shrugging it off. So she does just that, and she goes out in the woods again, and around 7:50 p.m. she's playing in the tree, climbing it again, and she gets that overwhelming feeling again. This feeling again is feeling like it's coming from above. So she decides to look above her again, and what she saw was terrifying. She said that she looked up, and when she looked up, she saw the most figure she had ever seen in her life looking at her. Not only was it looking at her, but it was calling her name, her real name, not Danielle, her real name. But not only was it calling her name, it was in her mother's voice again. Danielle is absolutely terrified at this, and she starts bolting home, and the entire time she's running home, she can hear this thing running after her. She calls her mother on her way home, and she was absolutely bawling her eyes out. Her mom gets home and she assures her that it's nothing, and that everything is going to be okay, and that it's not a big deal, and that she was probably just seeing things. Danielle did say that this experience was so distraught to her and scared her so badly that she actually ended up being hospitalized for 2 or 3 months because of it. She said she couldn't eat, sleep, drink, nothing. The crazy thing about this is that this is not even the only thing that happened happened to Danielle, something else happened to her that even traumatized her further. This is getting really long, so I'm gonna have to make a part 2 on it. If you guys want to hear that second part, that partly also contributed to her being in the hospital, then drop it in the comments and I will make a part 2 and tell you guys that story. That story is even scarier. So what do you guys think of this? What do you guys think this was? Like, this terrified her so much that she's still in therapy to this day. And the second thing that happened to her definitely didn't help at all. So drop in the comments for part 2. Also, if you guys have anything to say to her or anything to like help her feel better, please also drop that in the comments. She could use all the love and support that she could get right now. She is going to see it. I am going to tag her. Thank you so much for your submission, Danielle. And thank you for letting me tag you. You are the first person that has let me tag you, so I appreciate that. And if you guys want to send me your true scary stories, then there's an email in my bio. Just go ahead and email me there and I will come on here and I will tell your story. You do not have to be tagged if you do not want to. My name is Kaisa. I tell you scary stories that are true every single night. So if you like that, then hit that follow button, engage from the bottom up, and I will see you guys in the next one. Thank you so much and have a spooky night.
Question: how many of you would have got your butt beat if your mother found out that you was outside? You was doing something you wasn't supposed to do outside at the night. Firstly, who was allowed to be outside, go outside when your parents wasn't there? When you was home alone, did your parents say, don't answer this door, don't go outside, don't, all these things, don't invite your friends over? Did your parents say that? Because my parents said that. She made me scared of the outside. It was like my house was my fortress. Like, I literally, when somebody come up, I hear somebody, I went quiet, went super quiet. Like, it was just like, no one could know I'm here, because it was just like, CPS. We didn't want that. So I'm just confused on why you're outside when you're home alone. That's wow. Anybody was allowed to go outside when you were home alone as a single child? Now I understand if you have siblings, older siblings, okay. But as a single child, the only child there? Nah, that's wild to me. I would like, what? Her mom didn't say you can't go outside when I'm not here? That's crazy. Because why are we outside? Like, it sounded like she was playing by herself. It wasn't like, oh, I went to go play tag with the friends. No, she was soloing it. Like, nah, she went into the woods, honey. Stayed after dark. Nah. My mom would have comforted me, and then what might... Because why are you outside? If you was in the house, none of this would happen. If you was in the house, girl, bye. She hearing her mama voice and know that she ain't there. I would have been scared. Like, I would have ran into the house, or I would have even been outside. But I would ran into the house and not peep. I would not have looked behind me. If I heard something, I would have just ran. I was scared of that. I would have just ran. I would not have been peeping out the blinds. Nah. After I shut that door, it's done. It's done. And going back the next day, yeah, you're crazy. You're wilding out. Talking about, yeah, I went outside to look at the door. No, I'm not going outside for days, for weeks, for months. Like, I'm not going outside. Like, if that happened to me, girl, that was crazy. I don't know if I want to hear the second story. It's not the next one, but it's probably somewhere in this lineup of scary stories. So we might end up seeing the second story. But yeah, I would be traumatized too, because it was all her fault. Like, everything that happened to her could have been prevented. You over here went back outside in a tree and looked up and saw something. Girl.
People should really be careful with their personal items, like their clothes. I am back with another spooky story. And this one is a submission from Jamaica. This tragic story happened to the person who submitted the story's brother. We'll call the person who submitted the story Keisha. A little bit of a backstory about Keisha. She said that they grew up in a religious household. However, the entire family knew about Obeah and things like that, as Obeah seems to be a second form of religion for some people. Well, Keisha always had a really good relationship with her brother. Well, the tea is her brother was seeing 2 different women. And to be quite honest, it doesn't seem like he was narrowing down a decision anytime soon. He was just kind of dating both of them. Keisha told her brother about his behavior, and eventually he's gonna have to make a choice. He's gonna have to make a choice before one finds out about the other. Keisha's brother pretty much brushed it off. Like, yeah, eventually I'll find out which one's the right one for me. So Keisha's brother and Keisha were still living at home at the time. So her brother would go spend time with his girlfriends individually and report back home. Sometimes he would stay the night, but eventually he would always come back. Well, one day, gal number 1 finds out about gal number 2. For the sake of the story, we'll call the brother Andre. Well, when gal number 1 found out about gal number 2, that began being Andre's downfall. Well, gal number 1 finds out and confronted Andre about it. However, Andre didn't take her finding out about the other girl too well. So he decided to freeze her out. And gal number 1 confronting him somehow actually made him run to gal number 2's arms. Imagine you catch your man cheating and you confront him about it, and he gets so stressed out, he can't take it that he runs to the side chick that you're confronting him about in the first place, right? Well, pretty much Andre went ghost on homegirl for a long time. And the whole time, Andre was strengthening his relationship with gal number 2. And here and there, he would pop up at gal number 1 house. Gal number 1 was letting him inside, and you know what they were doing when he was coming inside. Even though gal number 1 and Andre weren't seeing each other as often as before, and there they would still see each other and they would hook up. Everything was going just like that for a while. But gal number 2 basically became the new gal number 1. Gal number 1 basically became gal number 2. Well, everything was going great with their dynamic until gal number 2 actually winds up getting pregnant. Gal number 2 being the one he ran to. Well, she winds up getting pregnant. When she got pregnant, that's when she started becoming a lot more serious about her relationship with Andre. This is when gal number 2 and Keisha officially met. Gal number 2 also met the mom. So at this point, it's giving official, like they're about to be a family. They liked gal number 2, so they actually welcomed her into the family. And during her pregnancy, Andre moved in with her. At that point, gal number 2 started to notice Andre's patterns. She started to suspect that Andre might be seeing another woman. So she goes through his phone, finds out about the other woman. He even said that she followed Andre once without his knowledge. Andre led her right to gal number 1's house. Well, gal number 2 goes home that day and comes up with a plan that she was going to confront the mistress, aka gal number 1. Well, the following day, gal number 2 gets up and goes and confronts gal number 1. She tells gal number 1 that she's pregnant. Her and Andre are about to get married. Andre and her actually live together, and that she has been welcomed into the family, and that gal number 1 is just a side piece, and that she should have more self-respect and she should leave the man. So gal number 2 leaving, thinking that she did something. Well, this is gal number 1 first time hearing out about any of this. So she decides to react. Well, she grabbed that man's shirt that he left at her house. Keisha said that she used his personal clothing to do obia on him. Well, a couple weeks after the entire incident, gal number 2 notices that Andre is starting to lose a lot of sleep recently. Like, the man just cannot sleep. She would give him medicine to help him sleep and nothing. That man at that point had gone 2 days without sleeping. It was only a matter of time until his speech started to not make sense. Not only did he start not making sense, but he started hallucinating. Really, really bad. He started seeing and feeling horrible things like attacking his girlfriend, his pregnant girlfriend. Really sad to say, but over the course of 4 or 5 days, Andre had completely lost his mind. To the point where Andre had no idea who he was or what his name was, or even who his family even was. Keisha tried to help her brother. However, her brother did not recognize her. One day, gal number 2 woke up and Andre was gone. It seems like he had ran out in the middle of the night, so much so that he left the door open. Andre, till this day, has never been seen. Keisha says that this could be a coincidence. While gal number 2 was perfectly healthy her entire pregnancy, he gave birth to a beautiful baby boy who looks exactly like Keisha's brother, by the way. Immediately after giving birth, gal number 2 also lost her mind. Well, one day, gal number 2 came to Keisha's house, drops off the baby boy, and she looked out of it like her eyes was not here. She looked zombified. She drops off the baby boy and just wandered off. She too was never seen again. Keisha says that she now has this beautiful baby boy that looks exactly like her brother, is now taking care of him and hoping that maybe one day her brother will turn up. Wow. Jamaica, this y'all? Well, thank you for submitting this story. If you have a spooky story that you would like me to tell, blah, blah, you can send them to me either on TikTok or DM me on Instagram. I love you, my abducted human. I will see you guys in the next video from your favorite Haitian homegirl.
Girl, that was wow. That was wow. See, this is what you not gonna do. She was like, oh, he did this. Like, this is like, we don't know this. Like, this isn't common. Like, we haven't heard this story before. Like, this is what guys do. Like, what are we doing? So yeah, he was being reckless. Why would she go to her? Don't confront the mistress. Like, leave. Take your pregnant self and leave. Leave this dude alone. Why do you feel like he's not going to continue to cheat on you? He already done it. He's still doing it. Like, you're pregnant, boo, and he's still cheating on you. He doesn't value you. He doesn't know your worth. Because if he loved you, he wouldn't do that. No. What, girl, bye. Girl, bye. I need people to stop getting pregnant by low budget value men. Like, don't do that. Is it like, what is going on? Don't, what? Like, if you don't know this person, I don't think you need to know this person. You know, like the elders be saying, she know this person. You need to get to know this person. The elders, the Bible says that too, right? So yeah, I just don't understand. No. She shouldn't have went to the mistress. The mistress then put a hex on everybody. Ugh, I'm just glad the baby was okay. Cause ciao. That was a wild story. Wow.
Anything having to do with SWs will forever freak me out. The person who submitted this story is so terrified that she does not want me to use her real name. So for the sake of the story, let's call her Danielle. When Danielle was about 14 years old, she lived in this home with her mom that was surrounded by woods. They had about 78 acres of land all around them. Danielle used to absolutely love the outdoors, so she would spend countless hours out in the woods, climbing trees, exploring, just living in nature. Her mom's only rule was that Danielle could not stay out once it started to get dark out. Like, it would be like the sun going down a little bit, her mom would be calling her frantically to come back home. This really annoyed Danielle because she really enjoyed just being outside. Like, she was one of those kids that just enjoyed nature. One day, her mom was going away for the night to go visit some friends. Danielle didn't want to go with her, so her mom agreed to let her stay in the house by herself. At around 3 p.m., her mom left for the night and Danielle went off and explored in the woods. Once it started to get dark out, Danielle felt excited knowing that she didn't have to come right home, that she could actually stay out there as long as she wanted to. So she went deeper and deeper into the woods. At about 7:30 p.m., the sun is almost completely down when she starts to feel like she's being watched. All around her, she feels eyes like watching her from above, like the tree branches on top of her. She then starts to feel this gut-wrenching feeling that she tries to shrug off when out of nowhere she hears her mom's voice calling her. She figures that maybe her mom came back home, so she yells back that she was in the woods, but she was on her way back home. As she's making her way back towards her house, she hears a bunch of tree like branches behind her, like cracking as if someone is walking on top of them. Once she makes it home, she of course realizes that her mom is not there. She calls her mom and her mom actually confirms that she has not been home since she left earlier that day. That was enough for Danielle. She decided to go in the house and slam the door, but before she slammed the door, she happened to look out into the woods and she caught a glimpse of this like black figure just like lingering out like towards the woods, like at her. She once again tries to shake it off, so she goes on with her night. It's about 7:50 p.m. at this point. She throws the TV dinner into the microwave. She turns the TV on and she tries to just kind of forget about the experience, but she can't shake off the feeling that she is still being watched. This feeling continues on until the morning. Now, Danielle did have like cameras outside like her house. When she woke up in the morning, she had a notification on her phone letting her know that they caught some type of activity on the cameras. When she went to look at the cameras, she couldn't see anything, but she could hear what sounded like tapping and like scratching noises at her front door. She goes to the front door and opens it, and in her screen door, her metal screen door, she had very thick gashes in it, like something scratching it, trying to make its way into her house. Now this is getting a little bit long, so I'm gonna have to do a part 2, which will be up right after this one.
So I know we just listened to this one. It was the first story, but I thought it was interesting. It's interesting hearing other people's story, other people tell the same story. You get different details. Like, we found different details, like the metal screen door, her yelling back to her mother that she's out in the woods. Like, we didn't get that from the first girl who told it. So yeah, I was just like, Danielle, another Danielle. No, this is the same story. She was just like, I'm gonna send this to anybody because somebody got to help me figure this out. Like, she was really, I don't know. She was really traumatized, bro. I feel like, yeah. I don't know. This girl, she gave more details, I guess, or I don't know. But yeah, it's always interesting to hear it a second time from someone else. Hear how they tell the story. You know, that's how fables were made, and folk tales were made. So yeah, glad we got to hear it twice. We're gonna do another story just because that was a repeat. Let's go to the next one.
This scary story and the events that followed actually drove a family out of their home. So this girl wants to remain anonymous, and we're going to call her Sarah. In January of 2016, Sarah's parents had just bought in this cute little house right off the highway. Sarah was around 18 years old at this time. The house was only about 1,100 square feet. Said that the house gave really creepy vibes, but the weirdest thing about the house was the hallway. The hallway was long and it scaled almost the entirety of the house. Her bedroom was at the end of the hallway with a bathroom on the right side and her parents' room off to the left. One day, Sarah has her boyfriend over, and as she wakes up at like 3:40 in the morning for absolutely no reason, and she has to go to the bathroom. She said that her parents always kept the house pitch black, no lights on whatsoever. So the way that she explained this is immediately right outside of her bedroom door was the bathroom. So she literally walks out of her bedroom. She goes right into the bathroom and there's no incident. But that all changes when she leaves the bathroom. She said that she went to walk out of the bathroom and she shifts towards her bedroom, when all of a sudden she got this crazy feeling that there was definitely someone at the end of the hallway watching her. She could feel it immensely. Then gets scared, obviously, so she shuts the bathroom light off and she runs into her room, which is, again, right next to the bathroom. So she goes out of the bathroom, she gets in her room, she slams the door shut, and all of a sudden she hears this thud right against her bedroom door. The creepiest thing about this is she knew exactly what that thud sounded like, and that sounded like someone was running behind her, chasing her into her bedroom, and when she shut the door, someone had slammed against the door. She said that the worst part about this was knowing what that sound was. Like, that just creeped her out so much. She could not believe what she had just heard and felt. So she, at this point, is just standing by the door, and she's in absolute shock, and her boyfriend is still sleeping on the bed. She's still standing up when all of a sudden she hears her boyfriend whisper, "Someone's here." Her stomach then drops and she goes, "What?" He doesn't answer her. She then repeats it 4 times. "What? What?" But he's not answering her. So she goes over to him, she leans over him to try to hear him better and realizes her boyfriend is dead asleep. Ugh, no. No, 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 no. Actually said that the feeling of being watched never left her the entire time that she lived there. And she said that she will never forget the dread of that night. And another creepy thing is that she actually moved out 3 months later because she just couldn't take it anymore. And then 3 years later, her parents' experiences there drove them out of the house, and that house is still vacant to this day. Guys, protect yourself. If you feel like something is in your house or something is wrong, listen to your intuition. This did not sound good at all, and I can only imagine what her parents' experiences were. I am going to email her back and ask if maybe she can share some of those experiences, but for now, that is it, guys. And just so you guys are aware, my last post did get a I guess I need to be more choosy with my words because that's crazy, and so other videos. So this video is probably going to not show up on your FYP, but if you want to share it, then that would help. But either way, my name is Kaisa. I give true scary stories every single night. There is an email in my bio, and it is specifically for scary story submissions. They have to be true. So keep sending me your scary stories. I absolutely love it, you guys, and everyone who has supported me thus far. I really, really appreciate it. I love you guys so much. Thank you for the support, and I will see you guys in the next one. Have a spooky night. Merry Christmas.
Girl, can we talk about the fact that your boyfriend is allowed to stay at your house, your parents' house, in your bedroom, and sleep in the same bed? Ooh. Never heard of that. That what? Never in my household. That would never be allowed. That is wow. Because it sounded like she was like 18 or something. Like, nah. Girl, that was scary. Because I'm just like, why cut the light off in the bathroom? I feel like I would have low-key investigated. I would have, because if I'm out using the bathroom and hear something or feel like someone's watching me or anything, I'm cutting on all the lights. I'm checking every door, especially if I go outside at night. If I go outside at night, like I forget something in the car and I come back in, oh, you best believe I'm checking every freaking room, cutting all the lights on just in case. I know God got me. I just like that security. That security of mind, that clear mind, like, oh, okay. You know what I'm saying? So the fact that she didn't cut all the lights on and she ran, well, I guess in her situation, I guess it was good that she ran, because she ran and because it chased her. It chased her and hit the door, and then she hears the whispering, and it wasn't her boyfriend. Oh no, bro. Oh no. I would have woke him up immediately when I got up in there. He wouldn't have even got to whisper, it's in here. It's in here. No, we're not even gonna ask those questions. We're not gonna freak with those 5 W's. No, you can keep them. Give me the other letters of the alphabet. Cause I need the N and the O of the alphabet. No, I'm not doing this. Not at all. Where they do that at? Not here. Girl, bye. Girl, bye. Everybody in the house would have been woke up. Everyone. You mean you didn't do a cleanse? You mean you left your parents? And a house you know is haunted? Bruh. What's up with these kids nowadays? Throw the kids away. Like, why we having kids? Ain't no reason. They gonna protect you, save you. Like, what you doing? Like, girl, bye. Girl, bye. Nah, I'm just not feeling that. Girl, I was like, oh, we see her again, but she buried the story. She came with the scare, girl. I'm proud of that. She better start the video and end the video on something scary. Okay, go follow her. Go now. What you waiting on? The video over, okay? Don't forget to subscribe to me, though. Subscribe.